I had went to private school for all of middle school, and that kind of set up my knowledge because I had studied the Bible in depth. I also was taught about Islam, but I was taught stereotypes about Islam, unfortunately. So I converted when I was 17 in January 2020. Been posting like Bible verses on a daily basis on my Instagram and doing Instagram lives, reading the Bible. I was like, I am gonna convert this person.
Terlahir dari keluarga Kristen, perjalanan hidup wanita ini dalam menemukan Islam, menjadi cermin bagaimana Allah memberikan hidayah kepada seseorang dengan cara yang tidak pernah kita duga. Dalam akun TikToknya, wanita ini menceritakan kisahnya, bagaimana dia menemukan Islam dan menjadi seorang mualaf.
Alright, let us discuss how I converted to Islam. So I converted when I was 17 in January 2020. I had went to private school for all of middle school, and that kind of set up my knowledge because I had studied the Bible in depth, although I hadn't like read it front to back at that time. And I had been raised in a good environment. I also was taught about Islam, but I was taught stereotypes about Islam. So for high school, I can't really go into why, but I had to do homeschool. I did online school. So on top of that, I also had very strict parents. So I dove into the Bible. I read it front to back. And then I was at a school event and I saw a Muslim for the first time. And obviously, being the devout Christian I was, and like having been posting like Bible verses on a daily basis on my Instagram and doing Instagram lives, reading the Bible, I was like, I am gonna convert this person. I didn't do a very good job, as you can tell. So basically, I went to the library with my grandma because that was like one of the few times I got to go out. And at the library, surprisingly, I found really good resources to study Islam. So I found a book that addressed stereotypes directly, which was kind of wild. It was literally like page 1, jihad does not mean offing yourself for the sake of heaven, basically. I found a really good Quran, which is also very rare. And I picked up some other books too, but those two were probably the most impactful. Everything else that I found out about Islam, I found out through studying online. So like YouTube was a main thing. Learning prayers, I used YouTube for. And it kind of started out as like, oh, I'd never do that, but I like the concept of hijab. Oh, I'd never do that, but I like this from the Quran. Oh, I'd never convert, but I like X, Y, Z. Until gradually I was like, okay, so everything in here makes sense, and I don't really know why I'm not Muslim at this point. And I remember crying next to my bed, like on my knees, and being like, God, please grant me like comfort and ease in this decision because it is very difficult for me. And everyone's telling me that I'm gonna go to hell if I do this, but I don't understand why I would go to hell for praying 5 times a day and dressing modestly and worshiping one God. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I actually, before I converted, I had studied the prayers online, so I had written down the Arabic on flashcards and I knew how to pray. Rumi. I was using YouTube tutorials for every single prayer, so I would type in the search.
Setelah memantapkan niatnya untuk mualaf, dia pun merasakan segala sesuatunya dimudahkan oleh Allah.
And at that moment, I felt complete ease just wash over my body in an instant. And I felt so much confidence about the decision I needed to make. and I said my shahada in my living room.